Welcome to Soar Higher with Jason Ballard, a podcast developed for leaders by leaders to inspire you to reach your highest altitude possible by providing proven strategies, resources, and expert advice to accelerate your personal and professional success beyond what you thought was possible. Well, welcome back, everybody. My name's Joel Weiland, and I'm joined in studio today by your host, Jason Ballard. And today we're talking about something super important: how to live the life that you really want to live. How you doing today, Mr. Jason?
I'm doing great. Living life to the fullest.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, brother. Well, everybody, we want to welcome you back to this week's episode of Soar Higher. And we've been talking for the last couple of weeks about some really important topics. We kind of transitioned away from what we had been talking about since the beginning of the show, which was just kind of what the post-COVID business world looks like. And now it seems like we're in a whole new phase of like, is the economy going to crash? I don't know. Maybe it will. People still be spending their money. People still be investing. Crazy times out there. Yep. But we've passed that. We're starting to think about the individual. What do you need to be thinking about to reach the next level of your success? And so we've gone through a couple episodes. We've gone through one episode on just trying to figure out if maybe like you're stuck in your career, taking some honest inventory of what's going on in your life, your job, your personal life, really what gets you going, and maybe being okay with realizing the fact that you might be stuck or you might be at this place of burnout where you maybe need to think about another option. In the last episode, we talked about goals and just some very measurable, practical, real ways that you can look into your future and set goals for the things that you want to achieve, the things that you want to maybe even overcome in your life. And so we're going off of those two topics, and we're talking about something really important today: how to live your life the way that you really want. Jason, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the world we live in is just sometimes crazy. You watch the TV, watch the news, and it's just the political scene's a wild, wild west right now, and everybody's pointing fingers and whose fault all this stuff is, and so the world is what it is. The inflation is what it is. The economy is what it is, and it's just stuff we have to deal with. There's ups and downs, and in some ways our country's doing well, and other ways our country isn't. But that's kind of the journey in life, really. A lot of ups and downs, twists and turns, and really, are you letting those things affect you and impact you and your happiness and quality of life, or can you do things differently to which no matter what happens in life, no matter what happens in the world, how many wars we're in, or economic crashes, or upturns, and bulls and bears are going on, no matter what's going on, you can be successful individually and as a family and and in your career. You can be successful in life with some very important things to help your mindset, help you think clearly, help you with some actionable resources that can allow you to navigate around all the crocodiles in the water that seem to be out there today, and get to where you really want to be, and not just be a part of. It's kind of like being in a boat in a storm. You just get sloshed around by the world around you, and things are happening to you, whereas things that we're going to talk about today, you can navigate around all that and have more control of the outcome.
And I think that's really important. And this is, I promise, Jason, this isn't me calling you old, but I think this is a really important topic for my generation, because for a lot of my peers, like we're buying our first homes, we're getting our first or second, maybe really important jobs, and then we see all these scary things happening, internationally, nationally. A pound of meat costs like 3 times more than it did this time last year. Some of us are, popping out kids, stuff like that. But I feel like my generation hasn't seen necessarily things go up and down and up and down to the point where we don't maybe panic. So I feel, and again, this isn't me saying that you're old by any means. You're a good looking sucker. But I feel like maybe you have seen a little bit more of that up and down through your experience as an executive coach in the military, in just government and things like that. And maybe I'm really hoping that this episode is an encouragement and also a motivator for people in my generation to say, hey, maybe things aren't completely on fire. There's better days ahead of you. There's new goals and new aspirations that you can have, even when the things around you are maybe a little bit more uncertain.
Yeah. Yeah, I always encourage people to be in control, right? You're either in control or you're being controlled by something, and you have the control to get up every day, put your feet on the ground, and say, I'm not going to let the woes of the world depress me to where I can't move, I can't think, I can't take action, I can't do things that I need to do for myself, my family, and everybody around me, friends, neighbors, colleagues. You can take control. You can, no matter what happens in this world around you. The most successful people in the world have key strategies that we're going to talk about today that allows them to be more successful no matter what's going on in the world, good, bad, ugly, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you kind of struck on something really important, which is mindset. I had a conversation with a buddy not that long ago, and I would not say that he's necessarily an entrepreneurial-minded individual. He's very smart. He can think something really high level into just this really manageable process. But I was like fighting with this guy for like 30 minutes trying to convince him that he could start his own company one day, because that's what I do in my spare time. I try and convince my friends to start companies and let me have a little slice of it. But he was fighting me the whole time, and I think it was just because of his mindset was stuck on this not necessarily failure mindset, but just like I'm not sure if I would be able to do that, and I want to really hear from you today, Mr. Jason, on how a mindset is so important to looking towards our goals, looking towards our future, and reaching our next level of success.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, if you're out there listening in the audience, I want you to think about a few things for a minute here. Where are you in your life? Are you being thrashed around in the boat with a big storm around you, and you're just hoping and praying to survive and live another day? Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Are you wishing you could do better? Don't know how to do it, when to do it, where to do it? Where are you in your life? Truly. Not what you put out on Facebook, not what you put out to the people when they see you walking down the hall and you tell everybody you're doing good. Are you really thriving in your life today? At the subconscious level, we all know deep down in our hearts and souls whether we are operating at our absolute best or not. Are you truly maximizing your full potential? Is there a day that goes by when you're driving from work or driving anywhere, doesn't really matter, where you sit and think to yourself, I feel like I can do more. I feel like I can have better, do better. Not that I'm a greedy, selfish person. I just want to have more and just own more and do more just for the sake of doing it and outdoing everybody else. But you know your capacity. You know your talents. You know your intelligence to be able to contribute to the world in a bigger, better way. And if there's ever a day that you think to yourself, man, I'm doing good, but I just don't feel like I'm a 10 out of 10. I feel like I'm like a 6 or a 7. Today, it's going to be a day that for which we hope to maybe change your thinking, therefore your life going forward.
Man, tell us a little bit about today's topic. What can we expect out of our lesson today?
Well, the true facts of the world that we live in, Joel, is that about 90% of the people that live in the world today are in their comfort zones. They're living the average American life. Well, it's even beyond America, just living an average life wherever they are. Right? They have a job, they go to work for a company, and they enjoy the benefits of getting, their paycheck every other week and their benefits, and they've got health care and coverage for their kids, and they live in a nice neighborhood. They take their kid to, ball games and get, ice cream afterwards, and they live a nice life. They're they're doing well, but only truly 10% of the world that we live in is really hitting 10 out of 10, is really putting themselves out there, taking some risk, and doing things on a level that maximize their full human potential. Most people, for whatever reason, it could be timing of what's going on in the world. It could be fears. It could be just lack of knowledge and knowing what to do and who to do it with, or it could be a number of reasons. But a lot of people, especially in today's world where there's a lot of stuff going on, they'll back off. The natural tendency is, okay, well, the inflation's up, gas prices are through the roof, the price of milk is crazy, and we're going to have to cut back, and we're going to have to make sacrifices. And a lot of people kind of draw up in those situations, and just they're cautious. They're just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen before they make a home purchase or a car purchase or take a trip or make a career change or open a business or whatever that may be. And they're just kind of waiting to see what happens. They're a little nervous to put themselves out there, even though they may see the opportunities. They may know deep down in their heart and soul that I'm really just not challenged. I'm really not giving 110% like I know I can. And really just, bringing all of the things that I can bring to the table in a way that is truly gratifying to them.
Man, so is the enemy comfort? Is the enemy just the normal, or just like the desire for comfort? What makes those people, other than just fear, which we have talked about before on a couple episodes, what makes comfort so inviting, I suppose?
Yeah, because it's safe.
Yeah.
It's safe, right? But when you study the most successful people in the world, there are common denominators there. Today, I want to outline six ways that the most successful people that have found proven strategies, we're going to give you those 6 ways they go from a 7 to a 10 and stay there.
Yeah.
And they just continue to thrive over and over. People, Elon Musk has gone through a lot of ups and downs in his life. A lot of people doubted him, but he finally broke through Tesla. He finally broke through SpaceX, right? The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. We've talked about him. He's one of my favorite guys that I like to use as examples, because he's a very inspirational guy, and he's out there. A lot of people know him, but he had a lot of setbacks. He had a lot of opportunity to accept mediocrity and no.
Yeah.
He had opportunities to accept no's, and he just, no, I'm better than that. I know I can do this. And by gosh, he put himself out there. And at no point did he ever really see himself as an actor when he was a football player, but he knew he had some it factor. He knew he had something special in him that would take him to the next level. Here comes WWE wrestling, and then that was his platform. And then from there, he just opened all these other doors. And so it's safe to be in the comfort zone, but nothing amazing ever happens being in a comfort zone. It's when you get out of that comfort zone, you discover a new world. It's like driving on your family on a vacation, and you've never been out west before, and you're going to see the Grand Canyon and all these things, and you're driving down the road, and then there's a detour. They're doing road construction. This happened to me on my family. That took us on a completely different route and exposed us to things we never even thought about seeing and experiencing on that trip, that actually allowed us to bond together as a family better. We got lost. We were out in the middle of Wyoming, and it was getting dark. We were running out of gas, and it was crazy. But that was one of the most memorable vacations we had, and it wasn't even part of the plan to begin with.
And you're here today.
And I survived,
You survived
Thank
Wyoming.
God.
Some crazy stuff could happen out there. There's more cows than there are people.
It's a good thing I had military training. Could have skinned a
gotcha.
coyote or something out there and
Lived off the
alive.
land. Oh man! And I think I want to take a chance to maybe just remind our listeners that this is what our show is about. Like we're not going to tell you that you're going to be the Rock. We're not going to say that we've got this secret formula for turning you into a multimillionaire. But this show is for those people that want to be in the top 10%. It's for the people that are willing to make the choices necessary to put the goals, put the discipline in place to be able to get to a place that you never thought that you were even capable of reaching.
Yeah. Well, it's also important. That's a great point, Joel. It's also important to note that let's use a very specific example. What I think is a 10 for me in the realm of fitness for myself is running a 9-minute mile. That's a 10 for me. That's like, man, if I can maintain that, that's really great. Whereas if you were to plot that out, a 10 to you might be a sub 8-minute mile.
Oh boy.
Right? It could be different things. Maximizing people's potential is personal to them.
Yeah.
And how they define that is important, right? This isn't about competing and comparing and keeping up with the Joneses. This is about what is your potential in different aspects of your life. And we're going to break that down. The 6 ways for which the most successful people break through are: 1, balance.
That's a word you hear a lot. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're going to go through this in something that we call diamond mapping.
Okay.
We're going to take our audience through the journey today of exploring this for themselves and setting them up with the tools they can use today to take them from a 7 to a 10 or whatever that may be for them in their life to truly tap into and reset their expectations about the life they want to live and how they can actually do that. The first thing is balance. Balance is holistic.
Yeah.
Because life is complicated. It's dynamic, right? There's more to life than making money. There's more to life than going to the top of some summit or achieving some goal. That's just part of it. But really, truly, balance is about harmony in your life, right? And it allows you to think differently. It allows you to perform differently when you are balanced. Balanced mentally, spiritually, emotionally, in every aspect of life, right? Number 2, clarity. Most successful people are the people that have the clearest vision about where they are, what's important to them, what are the things that they need to be doing to live the life they really want to live, specifically laying that out, visualizing that, and start practicing that, start living that, and getting better and better at that. The most successful people are the people that have the most amount of clarity about these things. Number 3 is focus. People that are successful are focused. They don't let the woes of the world or the topics of today and the news cycles, distract them and discourage them. They've defined clarity. They've defined what is important to them and what success is to them. They've got that clarity. Now they focus. They kind of dial in those binoculars. They put the blinders on to other things around them. Not that you need to turn off the world and you don't need to watch the news or pay attention to things, but they just don't let it distract them. They're focused on what's important to them, not letting all these other things just suck up their time and pull them in 400 different directions. The 4th thing is intentionality. The most successful people are intentional. They get up saying, today I'm going to do X and Y and Z, and I'm going to be very focused and intentional about doing that. No excuses, no arguing, no fighting, no distractions. We're intentionally stating, it's like when Babe Ruth used to play baseball back in his time frame. He'd get up, and what was he known for? He'd take his bat in his hand and he'd point towards
wherever he was going to hit that home run.
Wherever he wanted to hit that ball over the fence. He pointed to it, and he got up, and he hit it, and it went over the fence, right? He was very intentional about what he was doing and what he needed to be doing to be successful as possible. Number 5, got to have a plan, got to have a flight plan.
Yeah.
You know, no airline, with all the airplanes that fly around the world today and this congested skies and moving people and, you know, this fast-paced world that we live in, every time a plane takes off and lands, there's a plan. There's a flight plan. You have to file that flight plan with the FAA so you know how to get from point A to point B, how to steer around storms and, you know, lightning and thunder and birds and other planes and all the things that can get in the way that could, you know, cause you harm or prevent you from moving forward. You need to plan. And then lastly, and almost equally important to all of those together, is accountability.
Ain't that the truth?
Most successful leaders are accountable. The most successful people that achieve their full potential and live the happiest of lives, people that you see, and then they're just, you know, no matter what they're doing or where they're at, they're just smiling. They're laughing. They're just enjoying the moment wherever they're at, whether they're on the beach, whether they're on the couch in their living room or out back on the patio or you know, at church or wherever. They're just happy people that are fulfilled. They're accountable.
Yeah, they have other people on their team. They have. I think it's super important to understand that you just can't do these things by yourself.
Yeah,
you know, whether that be coaches, whether that be spouses, whether that be just, you know, good family cheerleaders, something like that. You're never going to be able to attain the level of success that you want without other people in your corner.
You got it. Yeah, life is a team sport for sure. No matter how competitive you may be, it's still a team sport. You can't go far. I think we've talked about this on the show before. You know, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you got to go together with somebody.
Absolutely.
Somewhere.
Team dynamics, I think.
Team dynamics.
Would absolutely recommend going back and listen to that episode. So I resonate with each of these 6 things: balance, clarity, focus, intentionality, having a flight plan, and having people in your corner, accountability. So where do we start? How do we use this diamond map? And maybe tell us a little bit about that, Jason. How do we use this diamond map to plot our course towards our next level?
You got it. So the diamond map is an exercise that I use in my practice. One of the best things I've ever seen. I actually got it all. They got the concept and idea from Brian Tracy, who's got multiple companies, great business leader, coach, mentor out there in the world. Wonderful man. The best way I've seen out there for people to visualize their life on paper. It cuts away all of the talking and the discussion and the, you know, putting on a front, and it really boils people's lives down to simple things that can be quantifiable. You can actually measure it. And you can, and more importantly, visualize it. Diamond map is actually making, you know, a designed diamond on a map of your life, and you can visualize what that looks like. And when people go through this process, Joel, I can't tell you how powerful this is if you do this and you do it right. I've had grown men and women that are normal, happy-go-lucky, go-getter people do this and be in tears, just thinking about their life and what they've missed. Opportunities have gone by, things they did or didn't do right or wrong, or it is powerful. It really connects people on a no crab, heart and soul level. And so let's talk a little bit about this diamond map. What the world is this? Well, we're going to explain it over the podcast here. I encourage each of the listeners to reach out to us via our website, soarhighercoaching.com, and connect with us there so you can get a free copy of the Diamond Map documents that we are referring to. There's a kind of a sneak peek of it here. And
check us out on YouTube for all those suckers that are just listening on the
so
podcast.
if you're just listening to the podcast, we just kind of showed a little bit of a picture of that. And so we have this out on video on YouTube. You can watch this on YouTube as well and see some things. So really think about Diamond Map as, kind of go back to math class, right? It's an X and Y axis. And you're going to measure 4 areas of your life on a scale of 1 to 10 on an X and Y axis, right? So if you look at the document, on the left-hand side, if you're looking at a straight line on paper, on the very far left of the line, you have family and relationships. What is that? That's the quality of life that you have with your family, with your spouse, with your significant other, your kids, your parents, your siblings, your friends, your colleague, people that are closest to you. It's the quality of life how much time are you spending together? Is it quality time when you're together? Are you just hanging out and chilling and
not
really
fighting all the time,
talking and fighting? Or
Yeah.
What really is the quality there? Is it as good as it needs to be? If we go out to dinner with your spouse and everybody's on their phone and nobody talks, is that really a good relationship if nobody ever talks? Of course not, right? Go to the other side of the straight line. Business/career. You think about your career. Think about if you're a business owner or a business leader, think about the business. Where is the business? Think about your career. If you work in a business or in a nonprofit or a government, or it doesn't matter what the organization is, where are you in your career? Are you progressing? Are you being challenged? Are you being promoted? Are you being paid fairly? Are you getting the total value of your worth from the employer? Are you contributing all that you can show? A lot of people I coach, Joel, one of the things they tell me, common ground with a lot of executives I coach is, well, I have this much to offer. I have 10 things to offer, but the company's only using 6.
Yeah.
I have these other talents they're not even tapping into, and I feel like I can do more, but nobody's listening. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody gets it. Nobody cares. I don't know what's going on. I have more to give. I see opportunities, but nobody's giving me the chance to really do that. So where are you truly in your career? Are you where you want to be? Are you progressing? Are you developing yourself? Are you challenged? Are you gratified? Are you excited to go to work every day when you're driving to work or powering up the Zoom calls or whatever that may be? All right. So that's the x-axis. You've got on one side the family and relationships. The other side, you've got the career and business side.
And I think if I may, it's important, for those of you who visualize this in your mind, like these aren't two things that are against each other. It's not 1 to 10 from one side to the other. It's from the middle. It's 0 to 10 outside. So again, we're trying to make us a diamond with this thing. Those two things aren't against each other. They are, however, very complementary, which I'm sure we'll learn in the future.
On the straight line you just drew with family and relationships on one side and business and career success on the other, put a dot in the middle. Go find the midway point. That's 0. And then go out to the right and make 10 marks on the sheet. On the scale of 0 to 10, where do you score yourself from a career perspective? All right, so go to the left, go to the other side. From the middle of the line out to the left, go out 10 paces that way. Scale of 1 to 10, how's your family and relationships? Truly think through that. And am I a 10? 10 meaning the best it can be, 1 meaning not so good at all.
Yeah, sleeping in the doghouse. Yeah.
Pretty much. All right, so that takes care of the x-axis. Now we've got the y-axis. So you're going to draw a vertical line right through the middle of the line we just drew with the two things on each end. At the top of this line is the third aspect of your life you want to look at, which is finances. Where are you financially? Do you have an emergency savings? Are you investing in 401k or 529s for your kids' college? How are you really doing financially? Are you making the money that you're worth? Are you settling for less? Are you spending it wildly and irresponsibly? Do you have a lot of debt? Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 in your finances? A lot of people are struggling right now because of the economic situations, but you have options to take that may help improve that for you. All right, the fourth and final component is going to be on the bottom of the vertical line we just drew. That's health and fitness.
Super important.
Health, if you're not healthy,
can't enjoy anything else.
Nothing else matters, right? If you can't get out of bed, you're zero value to anybody, right? It all starts with you, the individual. But take a hard look at your health and your fitness and your nutrition and score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Am I exercising? Am I slim and trim? Do I've got a big gut? Do I have a big butt? Do I feel lethargic? Do I just have loss of energy? Am I taking, 45 medications to stay alive every day? Am I going to the doctor every other five days, to get checked out for something? A lot of people are struggling health-wise, whether that be mentally or physically, with a lot of things going on, and they're just struggling, and it's hard for them. I had a client just today. His guy's, upper, side of his career. He's pushing 60 years old, been in business a long, long time, and we've been talking about very important things about moving his business forward. And I got on the call today, and I say, "Hey, man, good to see you. How's your weekend? How's life treating you?" And I could tell he was kind of down. He just lacked energy in the call when we were coaching. And I said, "Well, what's top of mind for you today? What are your priorities for us to work on today?" And he says, "Well, we've been working on a plan. We've been working on some things. I don't care anything about that today." Okay, what's on your mind? How you doing? I don't have motivation. I'm stuck. I'm dreading dealing with some of the things I need to deal with. I'm overwhelmed. I'm emotionally drained. I'm physically, I can't, I'm in a rut. I'm in a fog. I'm in a funk. I don't know how to get out of it. If that's you, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on your overall health, no matter how you're feeling or whatever, physically or emotionally or mentally, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Now, once you've plotted the numbers in each of those 4 categories on each of the 4 lines, draw a line and connect those dots. Here's the first question. What's the shape you just created when you connect the dots? Is that a diamond? Is it a square? Is it a rectangle? Is it a rhombus? Parallelogram?
That better not be a rhombus.
Is it a triangle? What kind of a shape are you dealing with? And if it's not a diamond, you should be thinking to yourself, okay, something's wrong. Something's out of whack. Something's out of balance. My shape is not a diamond. So it doesn't matter if you scored yourself. Let's say you scored yourself at a 3 on one thing, and a 3 on another thing, and a 3 on another thing, and a 3 on another thing. That's going to give you a perfect diamond. You have balance. Congratulations. That's one side of the equation. The other side is, why is it a 3, not a 10?
Yeah.
So there's 2 different ways to look at this. Is it a diamond? And what are the numbers telling you?
Yeah.
Here's the second question. Whatever number you pick is your number. Nobody's forcing you to pick that number. It's what you feel in your heart and soul of where you are. why did you pick the numbers you picked on this diagram?
Yeah, that's important to think about.
Why did you pick those numbers? What's driving you and what's going on in your life to pick the numbers you picked? I ask that question when I do this with my clients, and I get a lot of interesting answers. That's when the conversations get real. That's when you see disconnects between a husband and a wife and they're on different pages. That's when you see I'm settling. When people can visualize this and they can say, man, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 4 on two things. I'm a 3 on another thing, and I'm a 7 on another thing. Wow. Okay. That doesn't look good. It forces them to get real.
Yeah, I mean, it forces you to be honest, I think. And I think a lot of people, especially with some of these some of these categories, I mean, I'm just thinking about myself, I guess. Like, I think a lot about my family relationships. I think about a lot about my business success. I think very little about my health and fitness, to be honest with you. And it's not necessarily because I'm very much unhealthy. It's just, I hate to say it, but I'm coming out of my 20s and have just lived life very freely and ate and drank what I wanted. And now I'm starting to wake up a lot more sore. So those things are starting to kind of tickle the back of my mind a little bit. But man, like, these questions make one really intentionally look at the real state of where they're at. So this is a very powerful tool.
It allows people, it's a real come to Jesus moment for people. It's where you kind of cut through the surface level stuff and it forces people to go deep, really tap in, really force them out of that comfort zone. And again, by doing this, you're identifying the starting point. This is just where I'm at today. This is a snapshot of my life right here, right now. Good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. It's the starting point. And so if you ask yourself, well, I've got my dots plotted out, I've got my numbers, is this the best of you? For most people, they say no.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 areas. I've had some people put a 10 in fitness because they have a 6-pack abs and they work out 40 times a week.
Yeah.
And, some people...
Good for you. You
are
perfect
good
people.
Yeah, exactly. Some people are. I had a client the other day that had a 10 on finances. Well, his business was successful, and then he, came into some money through some family estate things, and he had millions of bucks in the bank. So I mean, financially he was okay. He wasn't struggling to put gas in his vehicle like most people are, right? Yeah. But is this holistically your best? Most 99% of the time, it's not.
Yeah.
There's more you have to offer and to truly just live a full, enriched, happy life.
Man. Well, we want to challenge our listeners as we draw to a close, back to what we were talking about at the beginning. Like, if you want to be not part of that 90%, if you want to be different, if you want to be above average, these are the questions that you're going to need to start asking yourself. Like, look at this as a first step.
Yep.
I mean, this is something that might be a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest, for a lot of people, having to look at where their life is, and then ultimately realize, and I think you'd agree with this, Jason, is that these things aren't just happening to you. You have control over these things. Yep. Like, yes, there's some, very difficult things that have happened, most likely in every single one of our relational family stories. And there's a place for realizing that those things happen to you, but that doesn't mean that you can't grow from them. You can't change out of them. You may have come into some hard times. Some things have been going crazy in the world, and you may not have as much money in the bank as you'd like. That doesn't mean that you can't change. You may not have a job that you love right now or that really fulfills you, that can change as well. And if you are used to just kind of sitting on the couch after you get home from work and turning on the TV, then you can, I don't know, maybe get some dumbbells and start lifting weights while you're watching Jeopardy at night. There's so many places where you can grow in small, practical, measurable steps. And we are really excited for our next episode, where we're going to be kind of taking a part 2 of this, how to live the life that you really want to live. And we're going to start exploring how to use this diamond map in measurable, practical ways, in how to ultimately reach the goals that you want to reach.
Yep. This is just the starting point. Now you have the initial capabilities and tools. We're going to provide those. You can go out to soarhighercoaching.com and connect with us and get those things for free. We'll give them to you and explain them to you, whatever you need. But on the next episode, Joel, we're going to figure out the ending point. We've got the starting point. We're lined up on the track, getting ready to, start the race. We got to figure out the ending point. And then we got to figure out how to navigate that and get to this ending point of this ideal life. And then how do you know you got there when you got there, right?
Yeah.
Tune in next time.
Yeah, absolutely. We really do invite you to come join us next time. But thank you so much for listening to this episode of Soar Higher with Jason Ballard. As always, please follow us on our social links. You can find those in the show notes. You'll also be able to find a link to Jason's website. Please reach out to us there. We would love to get this resource for diamond mapping into your hands so that you can start planning out your next level of success. If you're interested in learning anything more about Jason and his work as an executive or business coach, you can also find all that information there on soarhighercoaching.com. Please join us again next week as we continue to deep dive into this topic and look at more insights on how to overcome the latest business and career challenges people are facing in the workforce today. We'll see you next time.